Hey there, happy writers. This is Dionne Abouelela, your head happy writer and author success coach. Today we have another edition of Real Talk Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about something every author has when they put out a book. That's the book launch. But what we're going to focus on today is what not a lot of self-published authors do, and it's something that damages them severely, and that is the pre-launch. Are you ready? Let's have some real talk. So what I hear a lot from clients and authors that I work with, or even just authors that I talk to, is that I have to have a book in my hands to start promoting yourself. This is the biggest lie that you are going to ever hear, ever tell yourself, ever feed into. First of all, guys, drop the excuses. Like I said, I hear this all the time, that you have to have a book to start promoting yourself. If this was true, why would you know about movies that are not out yet? Why would your kids know about toys that aren't out yet? Why would you know about computer games that are not out yet? Why would we know what books the top 5 are putting out 2 seasons from now? Because they're already talking about them. From the moment you get an idea and you start writing, you have a platform to build. If you wait until after your book is published, you are 6 months behind, you are 1 year behind, you have just cut your feet. So I'm very passionate about the pre-launch phase, and I'm very passionate about telling you why you have to get over the thought that as a self-published author, your book has to be on the market in order to be successful. The pre-launch phase is your most important period as an author. Like I just said, if you lose your pre-launch phase, it's going to be really hard for you to regain your footing. Publishing works like any entertainment industry. Books are entertainment. People want what is new. They want the newest, best designed, most beautiful, most talked about book. They want to see it first. They want it before anybody else. They want to read it first. They want to talk about it first. And they want to act like they know you. One of the most powerful tools is simply talking to people on Twitter. And once you start to get a little bit of fame or a little bit of viral power behind you, if you retweet somebody or just make a comment to somebody, they're going to fall over and be so excited and share that with other people. And we're starting to see that with some of our authors now and some of the authors that I work with. But just think about it. What if John Green retweeted you tomorrow? Or what if Jodi Picoult or Stephen King? You would fall over dead because you would feel so special. So when you're using social media, are you focusing on relationship building, or are you focusing on selling a message? If you are focusing on selling, and if you are using sales language and not relationship building, you're wasting your time. And this is another thing that really hurts authors, is because they use all of their time to talk about their book. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But for the most part, you need at least 6 months prior to your book launch date to really get things going and get stuff set and out. That doesn't mean your book has to be finished 6 months prior. You can put your book up on Amazon 90 days prior to launch, but give yourself at least 6 months just to start talking about it. If you want some major reviewers like The Guardian, like Author Backpack, I'm trying to think of some of the other ones off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but if you want to go with some of the top reviewers, they want your book 4 to 6 months before it is released. So think of what kind of reviews that you want on your book and release it accordingly. These are the most common pre-launch mistakes that authors make. Well, other than not doing a pre-launch at all, of course. They don't give themselves enough time. All they do is talk about buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. They have no consistency on their website or on their branding. You go to their website, you have no idea who they are. They have blogs all over the place, 6-month breaks, 1-year breaks, one blog, or short blogs, and then a long blog, or everything's very personal. And their branding, they're using generic fonts, generic images. They have no color palette. They're using a generic template. If I go to your website and I have no idea who you are, what your genre is, and what you stand for, you have failed me. As your reader and as a potential fan, you have failed me, and I'm not going to be your fan. Nothing turns me off more than a bad website. If I go to a website for somebody, even if they're a best-selling author, but it looks like it's done in HTML3 from 1990, I don't know, what was that, 1999, 2005, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to go on. The next pre-launch mistake is something that I know everybody deals with, and that is fear. Fear of failure and fear of success are two of the biggest problems for an author to deal with. Fear is something that we can't really touch on today. It's a whole lesson. It really needs to be a whole class, and it's something that I'm going to be doing on my personal blog, girlversuscity.com, in my Feed Your Happy series. I'm going to be talking about how to break down fear, how to overcome fear, how to not let fear own you, and how to embrace it. And I think that's a lesson that all authors can take place in. So if you want to know when that's coming out, you can either like my personal Facebook page at facebook.com/Dionne, Dionne, Abouelela, Abouelela, or you can join our Facebook group for Happy Writing, and we'll let you know. The final most common pre-launch mistake that authors make is not knowing your audience, and this always shocks me. When an author does not create a business plan, give themselves goals, and that author does not know who they're going for. So many times an author says, well, I wrote a fantasy book, but they can't tell me anything about their reader. They can't tell me about their subgenre. They don't have an elevator pitch that's targeted towards that reader. They can't tell me where their reader is going to buy their books, what their reader does in their free time. And if you do not know your reader profile, you can't sell to them because you don't know who your reader is. Simply having a book and having a genre is not enough if you do not know your audience. If you do not speak to your audience, you're not going to create fans. You're just going to talk at them. If you're married, you know you don't want to be talked at. If you've been in a long-term relationship, you know nothing is more fun than being talked at. You want to be talked with, guys. And this is the same thing. Are you dating your readers? I'm going to do a whole course on how to date your readers. I'm so excited for this one because so many people just talk at their readers. They see their readers as a potential sale. They don't see it as a potential courtship, as a potential relationship. And your pre-launch period should be like the getting to know you phase. This is a quote that I love from author Penny Sansevere. The biggest mistake authors make is not realizing this is a business. Everything stems from that, because if you treat writing, publishing, and promoting your book like a business, you make decisions that are aligned with growing a business. Authors, we are authorpreneurs. This is a business. If you do not want to run a business, you might consider looking the other way. And I say this all the time on Real Talk. I'm being a little bit more toned down today, a little under the weather. So I apologize if you hear me breathing here. But so many authors refuse to look at their writing as a business because they think it takes the joy out of it. But then when they don't succeed, they beat themselves down for being a failure as well. We are authorpreneurs, and that's what Happy Writing is all about, is teaching you how to be an authorpreneur and getting you ready to be the best that you can be, and understanding your business without hating it, without driving yourself crazy, and without wishing you could just not have to be business oriented. You do, but if you embrace it, and if you understand the small steps, it's going to become automated, and it's going to be something that you truly love because it feeds and pays for your passion. The number one top mistake that new authors make is going up to their launch date with no business plan and no marketing plan. This deals with the pre-launch phase, it deals with the launch phase, it deals with the post-launch phase. Number one top mistake: no business plan, no marketing plan. And again, in the future, we're going to have courses over how to write a business plan as an author, how to write a marketing plan for your book that doesn't feel like a marketing plan. This is something I love, and the authors I work with are going to tell you that when I read their book, I come back to them with a list of blogs, and I say things, for instance, Chasing Evelyn by Leslie Hauser. She has a cupcake in there. Leslie puts cupcakes into every one of her books. So I said, do blogs about cupcake recipes. Get your friends to make cupcakes. People love cupcake recipes. People repin cupcake recipes. People share cupcake recipes. But you know what they don't share? A picture of your book that says, hey, it just launched, buy me. But if you put in a cupcake recipe and you share that cupcake recipe, and somebody shares that, and in that recipe, you say, this is inspired by a character in my book, out now. You put your affiliate link, and you say that they ate this cupcake in the book, and it's one of their favorite cupcakes, and they bake it all the time, and I can't wait for you to try it. People are going to get that interest piqued. But the problem is if you don't have a marketing plan, you're never going to cross these ideas. You're just going to be working your ass off to do nothing. And I don't know about you, but I like free time. I like to read, I like to paint, I like to draw, I like to work with my authors, I like to blog. I don't know, I like to walk, I like to play with my dog, I like to go to the movies. But if I don't have a plan and I don't have a business plan for my books or my business or my coaching, you know what I'm doing? I'm working myself in circles. I'm working really hard for no payoff. I'm working really hard for no results. And I have no accountability to myself because I have nothing to hold myself accountable for. If you put out a book and you do not have a business plan, I guarantee 75% of the time, and that's probably a little low, that author is going to fail. Authors, you must sit down and give yourself a business plan. It can be one page, it can be quick, it doesn't need to be in detailed. Just tell yourself what you want out of this and how you're going to make it happen. If you do not want to sit down and write a business plan for your book, then you're not taking it seriously. And why invest all this time into writing a book to not take it seriously? Blows my mind. Blows my mind that there are people out there who want to put so much heart and soul and time into something and then just take a chance. So here's what your ideal timeline should look like. Ideally, from the time you start writing, you want to start dropping nuggets about it, joining groups like Author Confession, Whip Joy. These are great ways to network with other authors and talk about your book and what you have going on and get people interested in it immediately. People who are invested in writing, who understand what you're going through, who are going to hold you accountable, and who are going to start going, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this to come out. So right now I'm writing a Cinderella retelling and I'm playing Author Confession, which is a great Twitter hashtag game. And it's so fun because I'm not giving too much away about my Cinderella retelling, but I'm giving just enough to where people are really excited and they want to know what this book is about and how exactly I'm twisting Cinderella and how is it different from the hundreds of other ones that are already out there. And it's because I'm playing this game and we're talking, we're getting to know each other through our whips. So that is before this book is even started. I'm writing 4,000 words in it a day. My goal is to write the entire book during the month of June while playing Author Confession. And then I'm updating my newsletter along the way with how I'm doing and where I'm at. So right now it's the 13th of June. I should technically be right at about 52,000 words, and I'm lingering at around 44,000. So I have to do a push this week. But here I am. This book probably won't even come out for a year, and people already know about it, and people are already interested in it. So when you give yourself a plan, I like to give myself 6 months from the time the book is finished. I want to hit major marketing from the beginning. I want to target my audience. I want to figure out who my audience is through creating my reader profiles, my platform profiles, and my marketing plan. And I want to get to know my target audience for 3 months. And during that time, I'm also going to be looking for target blogs. I'm going to be looking at who my target audience reads and who's reviewing those books. And we have other videos on the Feed Your Happy Facebook channel and the YouTube channel here about how to approach reviewers and tips for finding reviewers. So check those out as well. Those should be pretty helpful for you. But I want to set myself up so that way when I'm in that 3-month stretch, the 90 days before my book hits, that is such a crucial time. That is when I really start pushing. I start pushing for review copies. I start pushing for press. I start really talking about my book. I start teasing my book. I drop book trailers. I get more involved in groups. I start asking book clubs to read my book. And because during that time, sorry guys, like I said, I'm not all here today, a little under the weather, so forgive me if I'm a little monotone and for some of my little missteps here. But during that 3-month, 90 days prior to launch, this is when you're really pushing. And believe it or not, the hard work hasn't even begun yet. People think writing the book is the hardest part, but it's not. It's after the book has launched. But it's even harder if you don't take advantage of your pre-launch phase. So 3 months before that book launches, we're pushing for reviewers. We're getting the word out. We're getting on podcasts. We're creating Twitter games. We're participating in Twitter games. We are eating, sleeping, breathing our launch day. We're building that excitement. And if people are saying, I can't do that. If you can't do it, then why do they do it for movies? Why do they do it for Christmas toys? They do it in every single industry. There's no reason why you don't do it. There's no reason not to do it. And if you say you can't do it because you don't have a book, that is the fear driving you because you're not confident enough in yourself, in your brand, in your product. So what you need to do is figure out why you can't sell yourself, why you can't sell your idea, why you can't even just tease your idea. The book doesn't have to be finished yet, you guys. When you send an ARC out, it should be close to being finished, but ARCs are okay if they have errors. They're called advanced reader copies. You put a disclaimer in the beginning saying that it's an unedited proof. I get ARCs from major publishing companies all the time to read and review, and they always have errors in them. It doesn't have to be perfect during review phase. Most of the time, your regular, normal reviewers are going to understand this. It's typically the new ones who are trying to be nitpicky and really come out there like, well, it's an ARC, but it's not perfect, and I want to resell it, and I can't resell it because it has errors. You get the book for free, all right? Just review the storyline. Tell me what you think, okay? So that outreach should begin at 3 months. And then when you're actually having your launch day, you should take that day off and be at your computer all day talking to friends, talking to family, promoting that book online, having a party that night. If you're not invested in your launch, I have launched books where on launch day, I couldn't even get the author on Twitter. I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't get them to interact with me. I tried to play scavenger hunts. They wouldn't talk to the fans. And you know what happened with those launches? They failed. And you know what happened with those authors? I dropped them and cut their contracts. You guys, the pre-launch and the launch is so important. And I have a spelling error on here, so let's just overlook that because like I said, I don't feel too good. So successful is really butchered. But if you want a successful launch and you want organic growth and you want your book to keep going day after day after day after day after day and growing and not just sell 7 copies to your friends and then never sell another book, this is how you do it. 6 months out, 3 months out, bang your launch and watch the growth as you keep going. If you work hard in your pre-launch phase, by the time you launch your book, what you need to do every day is going to be automated. It's going to feel like second hand to you. You can go to work, you can do whatever you need, and everything's going to keep happening. It's not going to get in the way. So this is your dream, you guys. Why are you selling yourself short on your dream? You are your biggest enemy. Your fear is your biggest obstacle. It's not that nobody's reading your book. It's that you're not letting them read your book because you're not letting them get to you. You're not showing them who you are, and you are not making your book available. Putting it on Amazon is not making it available. Having a platform, having a pre-launch, that is making it available. So a lot of people say, how can I talk about my book? How can I talk about my book if I don't want it, if I don't have it? The way you present yourself before your book is even on the market sells your book. It does it more than just selling your book. Nobody likes a salesman. Nobody wants a used car salesman, but we will drool over a BMW ad all day long. Why? Because the BMW ad speaks to our dreams and our wants, and the used salesman speaks to our pocket. What do you want to do? Do you want to speak to somebody's dreams and wants and make them crave what you have? Or do you want them to look at you and think, yeah, but you're going to take my money? It's your choice. Okay? So how do you want to see your book move off the shelves? Do you want to see it move? You have to make yourself available. People have to trust you. You have to talk to strangers, and you have to show interest in others. The problem with authors is we tend to migrate to other authors. We spend our time always talking about writing, but what if your readers don't write? They're not going to be interested in only seeing you talk about your writing. So a lot of authors on Twitter or on Facebook, your Facebook author page, billion people on Facebook, and if all you're doing is talking about writing, readers aren't going to be interested. They're going to be like, this is kind of boring. So this is why your brand matters, because you can talk about different things. You can share inspirational videos. You can share quotes. You can share funny things. And like I say every time, doggone it, I do not like John Green's books, but if his author platform is not the perfect blueprint for every author to follow, I don't know what is. Go check him out. Look at his history videos. Look at how he interacts with people. He is unashamed to be a nerd, and it works, and it introduces people to his books. So here's your key pieces to a successful launch and a successful pre-launch. At the center is you. If you are not invested, if you're not willing to put in the time, if you're not willing to move forward, then nothing is going to happen. Nobody is going to do anything for you that you will not do for yourself, whether you are self-published, whether you are with a publisher, whether you are with a PR firm, whether you're with a marketing firm. In today's industry, it's all about how you come to the table, what you bring to the table. And a lot of people in this group have been rejected because they don't have a platform. And they go, oh, but I have a blog. Oh, but I have a Twitter. But how are you using it? Just because you have those things doesn't mean that you have a platform. If you are not branded and consistent in your message, and if you don't have a purpose for why you're using it. So you and you alone are at the center. And I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about platform, and guess what? We are going to have Author Platform 101. My pen name publishing authors have gone through it. I really love it. I think it's a great course. But if you want a head start, of course, I always recommend the Chuck Sambucino book, Growing Your Author Platform, or Creating Your Author Platform. And some of my authors will tell you all he does is talk about himself in it, which is true. He does. But he also has an author platform that is to die for. So if you can't wait for the Happy Writing course to come out, go ahead and check that. So you're at the center. You need reviews. By the time you launch, you should try to have 50 reviews. That will get you into the Amazon newsletter. That will get you noticed. You're going to have more reviewers who seek your book out because you are launching with reviews. And your sales are going to go up because people are going to come to your book and see that people have taken the time to review it. So again, I have existing videos out about how to get reviews, but this is something I'm very passionate about, and I'm always shocked that authors do not work better with book bloggers, that you don't nurture those relationships, and that you don't actively seek out those relationships. To me, it blows my mind that somebody who influences your industry and your dream so strongly, you don't seek. So reviews are important. Right now, if you are writing a book, you should be following at least 10 book bloggers and commenting on their blogs at least twice a week so they start to see your name. If you're not doing that, you're wasting time, so get on it right now. 2, a launch team. You can do this through email, you can do it through Facebook. We've done it both ways. Our email launch teams, they're not as easy to track and interact with, so I didn't like it. It felt cold. Right now, we're doing all of our launches on Facebook, and you can join these launch teams if you want to get involved. If you join it to see how we do it, I do ask that you at least participate. You get a free copy of the book in exchange for reviews, but you'll see what we ask of the launch team, what they do, how they help us spread the word. The really cool thing with the launch team is they can grow, and what you put into your launch team matters. Your publisher, if you're with the publisher, can be on there all day going, hey guys, do this, hey guys, do that. And if I put something in the launch team, we have about a 10 to 12% reaction rate. If the author puts something into the launch team, we get about an 83 to 85% reaction rate. And you want to know why? Because the author has the relationship with their launch team. I'm just in there to sell the launch team, and they know that. But when the author comes in, they want to make the author happy. They don't care if I'm happy. It's not my book. It's the author's book. They want the author happy. They want to kiss the author's ass. So your launch team is a great tool. It's a great way to get the word out. It's a great way to get your army going. Think of it like a street team. And I know I talk about J.M. Sullivan a lot. She's been banging author in this 2016 year. Her launch team by launch date was up to 116 people. Most of those were strangers, were people that she just met online through her hashtag game. She has had one of the most successful launch teams I've ever been a part of, and she has grown fans exponentially a lot just in the way that she talks to them. So if you want to follow an author that isn't famous yet, because JM is going to really take it, and I'm so blessed to be able to work with her and see her on this journey, follow her now. Start watching what she's doing. I recommend doing the same thing with Peter Mon. He's blowing up YouTube. I recommend doing the same thing with Dorianne Dupre. Dorianne is a little bit more quiet in her methods, but she's consistent, and she builds, and she has steady growth, and she wins awards. And so she is a great person to follow if you're a little bit more introverted, or you think that this isn't for you, or you think you can't do it. Dory is a great person to follow. She gives it her all. She has been through hell and back. And you want to talk about somebody who has had every obstacle the universe could hand to them in a short period of time. That's Dory. And her author platform never faltered one single day. Check her out. Those are the 3 I'm giving to you today to look at. If you're interested in blogging, look at Leslie Hauser. She blogs consistently. Look at Amanda Gernitz Hansen. She blogs consistently. I'm just going through the list of authors that I work with frequently because they all excel at different pieces and they're doing great. Like Ralph Pullins and Mike Hansen are hilarious on Twitter, and they banter on Twitter a lot, and they rarely ever talk about their book. And when they do talk about their book, it's a little self-deprecating. But whenever they do a post about their book, I see hits on their book online. So I know people are becoming curious about it organically. So all of this that I just said goes into point number 3, social presence. Guys, I will say this in every video. If all you're doing is talking about your book and you're not showing yourself on social presence, you are not using social media right. Yes, you can sell your book on social media, but it's more about selling yourself and building relationships. Like I said before, you're not going to go to a cocktail party with a bullhorn, stand in the middle of the room, and shout your name out and what you're doing there and hope people come to you. Why are you going to do that online? Why are you going to just sit there and shout and hope somebody notices you? Chances are what's going to happen is people are going to scatter and they're going to go the other way. So when you walk into that cocktail party, you're also not going to go, you might not. You're probably going to go dressed nice, looking nice. You're going to be put together. You're going to go there to get attention or to fit in, or I know as authors our job isn't to fit in, but if you think of yourself getting dressed and getting ready to go to a corporate function, you would be put together a certain way, and that's how I want you to think of your author branding package. So your final, and again, your most important piece to a successful launch is your business plan and your reader profile. Do it. Do it. Do it. If you do not write a business plan, don't launch your book. If you launched your book and it didn't happen, write a business plan, relaunch your book, take your book off the market, redesign the cover, redesign the blurb, and relaunch it 90 days from now and see how that relaunch impacts yourself if you just follow the simple, easy tips that we've talked about so far. Here's the other important thing to remember, you guys. You're allowed to get it wrong. You are not allowed to quit. Okay? You're allowed to get it wrong, but you are not allowed to quit. Let me tell you something. From running a small publisher that very quickly branched off into an imprint, which very quickly has evolved, there are so many times that we have not gotten it right, but we have not quit. And we have turned the corner, and we have evolved, and we have researched, and we have spent hours looking at things and talking to people and getting feedback and moving with the industry and going in an industry that is constantly changing. When I started pen name publishing, ebooks were the most popular. Now it's back to where print got a 3% increase and ebooks dropped 1% last year. And so our entire model was based around online sales and ebooks at a time when online sales and ebooks dominated the industry and are now falling off. So you have to constantly evolve in this industry and meet it and watch the trends. So you're allowed to do things wrong as long as you learn from them, own your mistakes, have accountability, keep moving, and you don't quit. And if you keep moving, you get it wrong, and you grow, and you don't quit, you're going to have success. This is why you can do this. Author Mark Dawson is a self-published author who makes $450,000 a year. $450,000 a year. Think of what you can do with that. Now, he doesn't just do books. He uses his books as a part of his platform. That's something that's pretty lengthy. We'll get into that in another time. 10,000 publishers start every single year. When I saw this number, I was floored. But I can tell you in the time that since I started pen name publishing to now, I have seen publishers spring up left and right. I've seen publishers fail left and right. I myself have come to the point many times where I'm like, this is ridiculous. And it's true. It is ridiculous. But you can do it. Publishers are coming up every year because it's a $1.4 billion worldwide industry that no matter what people say is not going to die. You can do this. You don't need a publisher. There are many times that I think to myself, I don't even need my own publisher. I'm going to self-publish my books. Okay, of course I'm not, but I could if I wanted to. I mean, this figure baffles and blows my mind. You need to be careful, and this is another way why a business plan is going to help you. You need to be careful about what kind of publisher you're going into. You need to read your contract, and taking into consideration that 10,000 publishers start every year, 400,000 books are published every single year, 200,000 in the US alone. You have a lot of competition. You have to get the pre-launch and the launch phase going. And you have to have that business plan so you know what you want, how to obtain it, and what you need. If you don't know what you need, you're never going to get what you want. 17%. The percentage of Amazon top 100 books that were self-published, and this number is 3 years old. I couldn't find last year's numbers. If you find them, put them in the comments. Let me know. But 17% of the top 100 books are self-published. That's a huge number. If you consider 10,000 publishers are starting every year. You've got the top 5. All of the top 5 have around 15 to 20 imprints. And then the top 5 also have distribution deals where they distribute books for smaller publishers, sometimes up to 50 publishers at a time. Right there, in just the top 5, those branches are going to spread out to around 750 smaller publishers underneath of the top 5. And of that top 100, 17% are still self-published. Let me say it again, guys. Marketing plan, launch plan, business plan, and happy writing. So get inspired. Rock your launch. Let's review. Brand yourself. Readers give you 3 seconds when they visit your website or your social media profile to decide if you are worth their time. Are you giving them the right picture? Have you shopped your competition? Right now, if you're writing a book, you should be following 3 major authors and 7 self-published authors who are success stories every single day, following their social media, their blogs, their websites, their releases, how they deal with people, how they talk to people, how they brand themselves, how they present their images. If you are not doing this, you don't even know how to start with what you need because you don't know what other people are doing. You don't know how to do something different because you don't know what the trends are. You don't know what hashtags to use. You don't know how your potential audience wants to be spoken to. Shop your competition. They're laying it out for you how to be successful. All you have to do is watch. Fuel yourself, guys. This is so important. I work non-stop. I'm working 12, 14, 17 hours a day. Sometimes I work 20 hours a day, and I burn out quickly because I forget sometimes that I have to take self-care breaks. Take care of yourself. Know when you need a break, but the one thing you don't get to do is give in to excuses or give in to fear. Take a day off. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you to take one day off, but don't quit. You are allowed to get it wrong. You are not allowed to quit. Make a plan. You don't build a house without a blueprint. You don't become Warren Buffett by winging it. Make a plan. Make goals. Define, write, revisit, and drive. Drive hard. When you think you've had enough, you are just about to come into your own. When you're about to give up, you are a few steps away from your next goal. It may not be your big goal, but when you are pushed so hard that you are about to break, it's because something good is coming. Just keep going. So if you need help with your launch, you can talk to me. I would be more than happy to work with you on your launch. I'll give you a complimentary 15-minute consultation. I'll take a look at your social media. I'll take a look at your book, your cover, your blurb, and we'll give, a little chat. We'll say, well, this is what we need to do immediately, and then we'll see if you want to go any further. But I love the launch phase. I love to rock the launch phase. I am an internationally certified goal achievement life coach. This is my passion. I do this every day in my business. I coach authors every day. I've taken authors from no social media platform to starting to be globally recognized on social media platforms before. I've launched authors into bestseller categories, top Amazon bestseller categories. I can help you with your launch. So if this is something you want, hit me up at happywriting@girlversuscity.com. If you're watching this in the Facebook group, of course you're already with us. But if you're watching us on YouTube, I have this wonderful Facebook group, Happy Writing, where we have all kinds of authorpreneurs who come together and talk about the joys of creating an author platform. We don't talk about the challenges of creating an author platform because the challenge feeds into fear. We talk about the joys of doing it, what makes it great. We talk about struggles, but we talk about how to overcome them because it should be happy. You should love your writing. You should always want to be in the writing industry. So on Twitter, we are twitter.com/happywriting1. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/group/happywriting. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today. That was pretty long. I didn't realize we were going to go 40 minutes. I thought it was just going to be, I could get through that really quickly on the real talk, but that is some real talk today. And you know why? Because that pre-launch phase. Pre-launch is serious, guys. It deserves every minute of that 37 minutes. So I'm going to leave you today with that, and I hope to see you next Tuesday for some more real talk.